Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yes, we're going live. We're here at the shop. This is our copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Countdown 3 2 1. Light them up. What's up, y'all? It is Tuesday. I think it is about 3, little past 3 p.m. on the West Coast here. What time is it where you're at? Yeah, we're gonna activate our camera here and get this little live started. Again, we're at the shop, Sky's the Limit Smoke Shop, 3925 East, Los Angeles. What up, y'all? I see the chat. We got some folks up in the chat. Jonocide. What's up, brother? P&W Rush. I see Bigfoot Fades. What up? Yeah, 3 p.m. out here. Heads up. Here we are. Cameras activated. Cool. How y'all doing? Just checking in. We got some internet service here. We've been having trouble with our service over at the pad, over at the Lily Pad. Yeah. So I thought I'd say what's up and tap in with y'all. Roger in the chat there. What's up? Yeah, we're going to hang out for a little bit, not too long. I know there's some other people going live a little later, and I'll be hanging over at their stream. Like Hellbent hollering. Who else? Who else is going live today? Bigfoot Fade, you going live? I did set notifications. I did get a heads up that you will be. I think you got something scheduled to see. 6:05 there, says Roger. Yeah, so really quick, we could start this early, of course. Yeah, with Dwarf. Yeah, we're hitting that early because yeah, so the previous live stream, I was trying to focus on a particular case out here. It was the knots. So it looks like there might be 2 cases. I don't know. We're gonna have to talk to our buddy Jeff. And yep, got my message out of service. And Jeff might pop in the chat, but he left me a message which was very interesting pertaining to that encounter. It's the Buena Park Bigfoot encounter. I read a recent article off the SF Gate, and I thought I was showing the article during the last stream, and all I seen, I was like, let me go back because I like to check for stuff like that, any mess ups or to learn. And I seen that the Knott's Berry Farm site or their page, which we showed, and we talked about how William Jevning, the Bigfoot investigator, old school Bigfoot investigator, had worked on the Bigfoot Rapids ride at that theme park. Has anyone ever? I remember riding that as a kid. Anyone ride Bigfoot Rapids? And then Fade says, Dwarf, go to Discord open. Haha. I'm not sure what that means. I do have a Discord. Are you following me there, or do you want me to follow you there? I'll follow you there. You think Bigfoot Michigan Rob is going live around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, says Roger. Roger that. Joanne B7. It's just Joanne. Or is it Joanne B7 now? You want me to add the B and the 7? What's up? Good to see you. Ease report. Oh, yeah, please. Or okay, you said it.
Joanne B7 to the office, please.
Uh-oh. Someone's in trouble. Flat Rock Land, what up? Yeah, all right, cool. You're notifying people. YouTube. I noticed we took a dive on the numbers, a big dive, like almost 10. So make sure you're subscribed. Can you say subscribe now? I know you could curse more on YouTube now, so there's probably other words we could say now that we weren't able to say before, or people were kind of tiptoeing around. Got to double check that. TikTok's new rules are just effed. I haven't deleted the app yet, but I'm like on the verge. I'm trying to figure it out. They're making it hard for me. Gemini Moon. She's not being called to the office at the moment. Cheers to you, Gemini. Kitty Cattywhack. Where was that ride? Just came in. That's a Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California. We talked about it on the last stream because it's here in Orange County. Yeah, right next to us here in LA. And that's where Disneyland is also. I think Disneyland's in Anaheim. What else? So there was a Bigfoot encounter there back in 82, and we were reading it. We touched on it before. We talked about how Daniel Perez was in a STM, and someone in chat will let you know what STM means. STM documentary. There are several Southern California STM documentaries made by one of the members there, and they touched on the whole Knott's or Buena Park. They call it the Buena Foot. And they seen this residents reported seeing this creature in behind these apartments in a wash, and that it growled and it smelled bad and all this, and but then authorities chalked it up to just being a homeless person, which, you know, who knows? I guess, you know, that could happen, especially nowadays. I could totally see that happening or believe something like that, but there's been reports like that too, where people thought it was a homeless person or something like that, and it wasn't. It was Sam Squanch. And what up, Daryl? I see Daryl there. Minxie, what's going on? Yes, there you go, Mr. Watson. And yep. So really cool SoCal documentaries here. We talked about it a whole lot. That's why I didn't mention anything, and because we talked about it. I've mentioned it so much. But anyway, so I was trying to read that article just put out by the SF Gate, and they had some really cool pictures to share. And that was a failure of screen share. And it happens. I got to check myself. Take it easy during the streams. And yes, we're on duty here, so heads up. And I want to give a shout out to a family that just came for the first time to the shop, and they found us online. And they're pretty local. They live down a few blocks. Never been here. And today was their daughter's birthday, and their daughter decided that she wanted a skateboard for her birthday, and she chose to come shop with us here. Yes, sir. And there's Jeff. Jeff, we're gonna talk about the Buena Foot, bro. Jeff had an interesting comment. If, you know, some of you may have seen or maybe didn't see. Jeff saw the prints. They were large and wide. All right. And this is about the Buena Park encounter. I was going to say he dropped a message, and I was just blown away by the message. So here we got a friend of ours, and Jeff's been by the shop, big supporter here too. Thank you, Jeff, for always showing love, brother. And he donated a pair of night vision to the NorCal Southern Oregon Bigfoot Project. So big up to Jeff. Whoa. Hell yeah. That was a hell of an applause there, Jeff. We're dropping the turntables here. And it happens too when I get the scratching and it gets all crazy. I got the turntables dummied up. We'll see if that holds. Hang on. I got them dummied up because this table's huge, and this table's going to have to go for certain reasons. It's a little too high. And that's why it's kind of funny scratching sometimes, but that's still no excuse. I need to practice. And Jeff's sharing quite a bit here. So heads up, the strides were about 4 feet long. You're welcome. Happy birthday to the girl and the brand new skateboard. Yes. And they bought a complete skateboard. So that's always, I talked about it. When people do that, it's like hitting a home run. It's a great day in the office. We got several hours left, so we'll have to be careful saying that. But yeah, it's a home run, and it's happened before where it happens early and boom. And so check it out, though. They had some business to take care of, so we might have to deliver it. And I told them, whatever we got to do, we'll get it to you. But, you know, the deal is done. Fechado. Thank God. So thank you, Lord. And thank you all for supporting, who have supported. We seen Bigfoot Phase throwing 2. She had 2 on it last night. Some of you got 5 on it. Some of you have had 10 and more. And we make it happen. So thank you. And that's a cool emoji. I see an emoji here now, Jeff. That's the first time I see that. I don't know how you just did that, but it looks like Riverside is showing some emojis. It's still spelling out the YouTube ones, which is a bummer. But there's Val. Cheers to you. Hope everyone's staying warm in all the cold places. We're in the 80s out here, folks. I don't know how you're doing over there in Orange County, Jeff, but it's a warm one out there. Yep, I'm in shorts and the whole nine, bro. It's like is summer here already, or what's going on? Anyway, so it's supposed to be 85 tomorrow. Heads up. And we have been, I don't know what the situation is with the storms. We've delayed on showing the weather. We were getting in the habit of showing weather, and then those storms started hitting, and we're getting heat out here. And I was like, you know what? Let's not. And we just showed it once for like proof that yeah, we are hitting pretty hot weather out here. Yeah, bless up. Got the Selassie shirt on, and yeah, man, bless up, Red Shot. Good to see you here, brethren. Yep, warm there as well. We got to send some heat vibes around wherever it's needed, y'all. Anyway, so the Buena Foot, we're getting into that. I wasn't able to show the article, but we're gonna show it tonight. Or is it today? We're showing it now. Where you at? Here we are, SF Gates. And I did a pretty good job of reading it. I was proud, and I was like, whoa, you did a pretty good read, bro. No wipeout, brother. And when I went back, I just seen Snoopy and the Peanuts and some lady, and I was like, dang it. That was a bummer. So let's switch this up like this. And I won't read the whole article again because it was quite extensive. So I was like, man, it was a long one and I got through it, but I did do pauses and, I kind of do that while I was reading. But I did want to show some of these pictures that they had about the case. And then so Jeff, if you keep an eye on Jeff in the chat, so they were there. And we'll keep an eye out. Maybe we might have a Jeff sighting in one of these pictures, but here's one of the pictures there of the tunnel where they believe the creature had gone into. 30 now, colder, 20s tomorrow, then snow again Friday. Forecast from Val SWPA there. We always say cheers, and we could be cheering anything. I mean, now I would imagine some hot cocoa with, a little whooped creamy, how the Brazilians say it. And so maybe marshmallows. Sounds good. With some real hot chocolate, cacao. Some cacao. Ever had the cacao fruit? The actual fruit has pits in it also. Super good. Loved it. Let's see, a police officer called the investigator, and my brothers and cousins were all there. Very interesting. So Jeff, when you gonna jump on here, brother, and talk about this? I could put a link out now, but I ain't gonna put you on the spot like that. But we could set it up, bro. And if anything, you could be encapuchado, wear a mask or something. We could hide your voice if need be. Yeah, you could be like,
"This is Jeff."
Or, "This is Jeff."
yeah, this is fascinating, bro. I would love to have you on. And even if it's not to talk about this, just to let us know what's going on in Orange County would be super cool. And again, these pictures from the Los Angeles Public Library, which I told you is an old world building, 100, and it goes underground. So I need to go there and investigate. It's been a while. And here is a composite description, which I love. So watch out, Bigfoot cheeks. Whoa. Where's Blazer? I can see what is there. What do you mean? Let's see. What do you mean, Joanne? So there's and that looks pretty darn hairy. You know, I don't think a homeless dude, unless he's got hypertrichosis, is gonna look like that. Or a ghillie suit on, which is very possible. Sure, we got several ghillie men here in LA hiding in some bushes somewhere. You know, there's the old tale of the hiding man. Look that one up, y'all. I think we did a stream on it briefly here in LA. They call him the hiding man. It's become a whole legend and even got merch now too. Here's a couple investigators that were involved checking out a cast, a handprint. And I don't know if that's the print that I had read the message you said, and I don't know if someone had stepped on the print. We mentioned that, yeah, someone had stepped on a print, but they were able to get a hand cast. What up, Patrick Noble? What's going on, brother? They got a hand cast, but someone stepped on the print, and Jeff says la opinión. So the opinion, which is a very famous Hispanic or Latino, however you want to say it, I'm sure there's going to be a new term for us folks now these days. Spanish speaking folk. That's our LA Times, our newspaper, La Opinión. And he says La Opinión took photos of my brother and cousin squatting next to the print. Then other brother, Tommy, accidentally stepped on it. Oh, Tommy boy. It happens, brother. It's all right, man. Yeah, no, it's all right, man. Tommy, accidents like that happen. And now we have a customer. So give me a second. We're going to swap over to the Redwoods right quick. Y'all hang out. Let me take care of this quick business. All right. We are back. Any Squatch sightings? Anyone see any Bigfoot go by there? Patrick? That's why we pull up this camera here. This is Smith River Alliance. Yeah, Save the Redwoods 100 League. Explore.org. And this is off of YouTube, so you could look it up on YouTube if you're ever interested, seeing what's going on up in Del Norte County. On camera, I'm over here. Can you activate for me? Or are you on break now? Of course. And watch me. I'm trying to activate it. There we go. But if I do some sort of weird move, then it'll either deactivate or activate. We got to name our camera here. His name is 360. That's right. It's a 360. And look, the camera zooms and pans and everything. It's awesome. We got, it looks like a little bit of moisture on the lens, but yeah, probably due to the weather. What up, Flat Six? And no, his six pack ain't flat. What up, brother? Good to see you. So we're talking about the Buena foot case we were just showing here. So let's go back, and we're gonna make sure we pull up the article. We're revisiting this because I messed up on pulling up the article previously when we were getting into this case. And yeah, you could check this out. This is just posted several days ago, less than a week ago, I believe, on the SF Gate. Yes, and here's so a couple investigators there from left, Tom Muzila and Dennis Rumner of Special Force Investigations. Dude, that's a rad name. Who was talking about Special Forces guys? Someone was mentioning that. I was like, yeah, the Special Forces guys is a special unit. Left by Bigfoot of Buena Park, California, 1982. And it's hard to believe just because it's so inland. This is probably like the furthest to the coast here, out of LA and Orange County Bigfoot report I've ever heard. He's pretty close to the coast there. I mean, you go up north, maybe down south. I don't know how it is going further south, but up north, yeah, the chances increase a whole lot of seeing Sasquatch on the coast. Once you get into like Big Sur and Santa Cruz, they somehow skip. I think they go around, or how do they get through like San Francisco and that if they're going along the coast? Probably whip around somehow. Well, we seen a mountain lion the other day running through the middle of San Francisco, so maybe they do it too, and they get reported as a homeless person, or maybe they don't get reported at all. They just get, it's just another crazy Californian. Kind of look like Sasquatch. All right, aerial view there. So we're showing the pictures that we missed, which is super important. And Jeff in the chat is sharing a whole lot with us. And hold up, I don't have the stream pulled up on the monitor, so I can't really see what the chat is saying. Un momento. And welcome to everyone coming through. Good to see everyone. I'm about to see you better here. All right, we're able to pull it up. I see the chat now. Shelly, what's going on? Barbara, let's give Bigfoot Dwarf all the thumbs up we can't. Right on. I appreciate that. Much love. And then we talked about also, this is the Willow Creek China Flat Museum. The Willow Creek China Flat Museum in Willow Creek, California, Humboldt County. Yeah, that's where Bigfoot lives. Yeah. Houses the world's most famous Bigfoot collection. And some would debate that now that we have, newer museums opening up with a lot of cool stuff. There's up in Oregon, Georgia, Colorado, Scott, and I won't name the museums. You're gonna make me think. I'll have to download those files, and that takes time sometimes, especially with the sketchy internet service I've been having. They probably won't be able to download. Anyway, so I've had many of lunches. I've took many of lunches in the parking lot of this museum, and I like to mention that in case there's any new followers there. Probably wondering what the hell is he doing taking lunches there? Yeah, I used to work in Willow Creek, pretty much lived there. I was living on the coast also, and we talked about all that. And here we go. So that was pretty much it on that. And I'm going to have a little chat with somebody here. You want to listen to the conversation, or should we? All right, 1 second. I'm going to leave that right there. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, that was good. Let me tell you why, because that person is probably going to help me fix my truck. There's a few things I need to tighten up, especially before we get back up to Bluff Creek. So I'm glad I ran into him, and hopefully, fingers crossed, folks. Yeah, there's a few things. The truck's been rattling a little here and there. Just some things need to be done with it, but it's still a champ. I mean, it would take me anywhere, and I just need to give it some TLC, baby. So, and let me tell you, it's gonna get it. Brother Nighthawk, check out the water in the encounters area and the supernatural name in the area of encounters. Yeah, you're talking about that. We talk about that a whole lot. And maybe Buena Park has some interesting stuff that we could get into. But what else? So, Brother Jeff, hopefully we could go in deeper on this case because it's fascinating. Yeah, the Knott's. And what was the Knott's Berry Farm Bigfoot? Because when we were getting into this, we saw that they brought that up and it seemed like a whole separate case. So was there maybe another sighting of this same creature? Was it closer to Knott's Berry Farm? Because I remember calling it the Knott's Berry Farm Bigfoot, but they were saying when we read the article that it seemed to have been two separate cases. So we're going to have to dig deeper into that. And again, yeah, we're showing this again because I wasn't able to pull it up when I had to. Wah, wah. All right. Heading back over here. Boom. What else were we going to get into really quick? I'm checking. I'm keeping an eye on the time here. So we got half hour till 4:00. Let's rock a little longer here. So there hasn't been any new reports added to our usual mapping online mapping databases, but we are going to pull the database up. Yeah, Bigfoot mapping project. We've seen there were several reports there out of South America, which is a whole thing I want to get into because, seems like every state now, they all got their Bigfoots, Bigfoot investigators, Bigfoot organizations and everything, and got their own everything, right? So I'm thinking, well, let's cross the border because I don't think Bigfoot has borders. I don't think he thinks like, oh, yeah, that's Oregon up there. That's California down here. It's all one open space. And I'm sure they go south. And we've talked about it pertaining to the PCT trail, Pacific Coast Trail, that zips you from Mexico all the way up to Canada. And it's been theorized by others that, yeah, they use it. And I would say, why not? Right. And you have munchies and like camps, hikers you could jack and stuff along the way for whatever food source. And I'm sure you'll find elk and other things. And why not travel around the West Coast? And so anyway, but I wanted to go a little further down since Venezuela has been on the map lately with all the stuff going on over there, and of course Mexico's always on there. But I'm sure there's Mexican reports. There's a small rocky mountain town that I have family ties to, La Rumorosa. We've brought that up before, and it's now known as a UFO UAP hotspot. We've brought that up before. Yeah, check it out, La Rumorosa. If you're into UFOs, UAPs, and stuff, look it up. And they've had recent conferences there, a lot of big conferences, or should I say kind of like conference, and then it was like a Skywatch thing. I got invited, didn't make it out, but I'm sure, I mean, I hope it's good for the town, that hopefully they cash in on it, right? For the locals there, because before that it was nothing up there, and there was just like a haunted they call it a manicomio, which is like almost like a nut house. And then there was abandoned school there. And I remember that as a kid. So you used to zip around there, and my uncle has a cabin up there, stays up there at times. and they do get snow and they do get hella heat up there. But apparently they get UFOs and aliens. Our buddy, who was a few months, he had popped in here, and William there, I see the all caps, so we must be reading. Give me a second. I'll get right to that. He had, yeah, so he's definitely having sightings up there, and I've gone out sky watching with him. So this guy is certified by Dwarf. He's legit, and I'd go out with him anytime. And he wants to go squatching up in Mount Shasta. He's had stuff happen to him up in Mount Shasta as well, so he gets around as well. And that's Luces en el Cielo, Anaheim. Yes, that's funny. He's from Anaheim, California, where we're just talking about. Funny. I'm glad I'm making those little connections there. Sometimes I forget those things, but that's important because he's had sightings right outside of Anaheim. So there's definitely UFO activity out there, and we're just talking Orange County with the Buena Park Bigfoot case here. So interesting. We're getting into UFOs and Bigfoots. And so yeah, his YouTube channel is Luces en el Cielo Anaheim. And he recorded a light being up in the Rumorosa out there. So definitely a hot spot for no reason. And yeah, they got billboards with aliens on it. My pops, he went up there, he went to one of the bakery they have there now, and he took a picture. They got these 3 little grays made out of I don't know if a local artist made them or something like that, but they're in the bakery, and sent me a picture of that. Anything Bigfoot or it's not really Bigfoot out there, but actually going across the border in the San Diego side of things, which isn't too far. Got to mention Tecate also, not the beer, the town. But yeah, any of those rocky mountain towns like that, I would imagine they'd have some Bigfoot activity. Got the mailman here. Let's see if he comes in today. Not sure we have any mail, but yeah, what's going on in the chat there? Anyway, why were we talking about La Rumorosa? I don't know. Maybe I'll remember. You saw a UFO fly over your house a few years ago, says Minxie. Minxie, I believe it. We used to have a lot of UFOs outside of the shop here. A lot of weird stuff going on. And it could have been, secret project stuff of, and I say ours meaning human, but, there's someone had recently left me a message saying that they were flying weird balloons that possibly changed shape and all this stuff out of Riverside, I think, California. Got to find that message again and go in on that. But I do think there is other worldly stuff going on too. Stuff from other dimensions or other worlds. Why not? Other timelines, whatever. Everybody's on the on the Steam list thing right now. I see people riding that wave, and just that seems to be how would you say, domino affecting a lot of things. So I'm watching. So William says, let's see. Do you know that Knott's Berry Farm is actually connected to the Dollywood Park in Tennessee? I believe the families are connected to Dolly somehow. And I wonder, Dolly who? Dolly when I think of Dolly, I think of the cloned sheep. But I wonder, Dolly who? And then there's Dollywood, of course, if you're talking code. I know what you mean by that. But and I recently seen a documentary about, and I think it's over on Insta, might find it on TikTok, about the whole story behind Knott's Berry Farm, because it used to be a farm, and they did grow berries, but I think they started making pies, and it's kicked off. It's weird, but I do question a lot of origin stories these days. You never know with AI of making up most of our history. I need to hear her story. Oh man. So anyway, I did want to head south to South America and check out some Bigfoot reports out of there. Because I do think, I've heard of stuff out of the Amazon, Brazil, of course. And I've heard of stuff out in the Andes, the mountains out there. What is it? Peru, Chile, Argentina. There's still stories of giants, humanoid giants, human-like giants. I've seen footage, videos. You find them online, find them on YouTube. Also, of course, yeah, Peru's full of all sorts of aliens and very interesting stuff. And what else were we going to mention about? Oh, Patagonia. Los Patagones. We've talked about that. I think there could be some sort of giant Bigfoot connection there. And I know there's also a Native American, like a human like us tribe, the Patagones. And I believe they were tall, like really tall, pretty tall, like for my standards. We're gonna have to dig into that as well. Maybe Gustavo hasn't appeared in the chat, has he? Maybe he could tell us. He's out in Argentina. What up, y'all? Okay, so South America, we'll see if we could pull this up. Bigfoot mapping project. Where are you at? There you are. There is South America. Boom. So there's we got a report there. It looks like is it Colombia? Yeah, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana. And right next to Guyana, you have what is it? French Guiana and Suriname. Ever heard of those countries? Haven't been yet, but I've always been fascinated by them. And of course, I always bring up Brazil, but even all these other countries in South America, I'm very interested in. Tasted most of their cuisines. Now I want to go check out their lands. And yeah, I have been to South America several times. We've talked about that. And so let's head on over. I was interested in this report. We pulled it up last time. This is 1920. Horse and buggy. And we noticed it was quite extensive, but let's try and pull this off here before the next customer comes. It's been on. Come on, customers, come on in. We're multitasking here. Bring it on. All right, 1920, Venezuela, a team of Swiss geographers under François Delois shot an unusual primate in the jungles of Colombia, Venezuela. Delois stated that two of the creatures attacked his team, forcing them to defend themselves. One of the creatures fell and the other made its escape. Made its escape. I said that kind of funny. Delois claimed that the animal shown was just over 5 feet tall. He removed the creature's skin and cleaned its skull, jaw, and attempted to bring these back to Switzerland for scientific analysis. I'm starting to think I may have read this, but let's read it again. Unfortunately, the artifacts were lost in a boating accident. Oof. Fast forward, the creature's height was originally disputed. It was then noticed, however, that it was sitting on a fuel crate. And this is interesting, as we might get somebody here. Let's see. Yeah, it was sitting on a fuel crate, and I think there might be pictures to that. Using the known dimensions of such a crate, it was possible to confirm Delois' claim. The creature's height and physical appearance set it apart from other primates known to science. The find was given added credibility by eyewitness accounts in 1931 of a similar creature in British Guiana. Then in 1968, the explorer Pinto Turoya reported that he saw the same type of creature in the area of Marirupa Falls, eastern Venezuela. Turoya further second brief sighting of the creature in 1970 on the eastern slopes of the Andes in Ecuador. The most recent sighting of this type of creature took place in Guyana in 1987. The witness mycologist and out there looking for mushrooms, Gary? Right on. Gary Samuels was doing field work for the New York Botanical Garden while gathering fungi from the forest floor. He heard footsteps. Where have we heard that before? We've heard that in Bigfoot reports and also mushroom pickers uh, reporting Bigfoot sightings or encounters or vocalizations and stuff, or finding evidence of some sort and them going missing. Very interesting, which is worthy of notes. Whip out the giant red pencil. All right. So he heard footsteps, and when he looked up, he was surprised to see a 5-foot tall bipedal ape bellowing an occasional whoo sound. Yeah, I'd be like, who also? Yep. So, who? The authenticity of Deloy's photograph is still disputed, while many authorities contend that the creature seen is nothing more than a slightly larger than average spider monkey. The evidence presented here seems to support Deloy's claim. And it says, see, I'll spell this out. CQUEER, beast may be missing link 1928 or 1929, sorry. For further information, it's broken up there. So you could look that up, 1929. For further information on this incident, source Jerome Clark, 1999, unexplained, visible ink press, Farmington, Michigan, USA. Be right back. Give me 1 second. We're gonna wrap this up. Appreciate everyone coming through. I'm glad we're able to get through that one there, and we'll touch base on this one again. We're gonna hit our outro. Take care of this business. We out, y'all. Yeah.